again, everybody. It's me, it's the ROB coming at you. Hashtag the real Bobby Munson with another episode of Rob's Rockin' Wrestling. Yes, folks, we are just days away until WWE presents No Mercy live on Sunday. So yes, if you haven't checked it out already, I've already put up a kind of a pre prediction type cast there, so you can check that out. Find out what some of my thoughts going into this Sunday. One match that I didn't know about at the time was The Miz taking on Jason Jordan for the Intercontinental title. I honestly feel like this is going to be a Miz win, and it should be a Miz win. I think that them putting around Jason Jordan right now would be all just for the media talk, the surprise shock value. I think they could pull that off better with putting the Cruiserweight title around Enzo Amore. I don't think that they need to be bouncing around the Intercontinental title at the moment. I think The Miz carries it very, very extremely well. He's just surpassed the Honky Tonk Man's record for longest reign, I guess, total reign as the Intercontinental Champion, which is a huge thing for the Miz and his career. Something people probably wouldn't have ever expected in the first place from him, but he's there, he's done it. Congratulations to the Miz. Hope he continues that incredible run. He has made the Intercontinental title a lot more interesting since becoming Intercontinental Champion in these modern days. Anyways, so with that being said, No Mercy, we rolled in with Raw on Monday night there. Not a lot that I can say about anything that happened. What can you say about Raw other than it was a very promo heavy episode of Monday Night Raw? Everything felt like promos with little to no anything else. It came out with Kurt Angle starting a promo, setting up you know, this Intercontinental Championship six pack at the end of the night or whatever, so that we can decide upon the new number one contender for the Intercontinental title. So a typical Monday Night Raw start off point, not so bad. But then we rolled in with Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Not a terrible match, not a great match at the same time. It was pretty good. Nia Jax picking up the win in this particular match. And then from there, we saw out come Sasha. Basically, Sasha caused Alexa to go back to the ring when she was trying to run away from Nia. Alexa goes back, loses to Nia. Sasha comes in. Nia starts just cleaning house there, and out comes, you would think, Emma, because she's in the match this Sunday. But no, hey, we return Bayley for some weird reason. This is what I want to rant about this for a moment here, folks, because Bayley's return should have been something that would have been more impactful had they brought her back on Sunday at No Mercy or something like that. Save the surprise that she's, ready to go again until then. Not just plop her into the match. I mean, throwing somebody into the match last minute just feels like weak booking to me. Again, not saying that Bayley doesn't deserve to be in a match like this, but it's almost like them admitting we're not really sure what to do and we don't think this is going to work. So we'll throw somebody else in there, kind of thing. It's really just I think it's going to take away from the action. I think the more people you keep piling on top of a match, sometimes just, it takes away from the action unless it's done right. Sometimes it can be done right. Honestly, I don't think in this case it's one of those situations where it's going to be done right. So unfortunately, I just don't see this one working all that well. And, for Bayley to return and then, what are we going to have? Are we going to have her actually win the title? I don't think so, kind of thing. So I still think, even with that addition to the match, I think Alexa is still going to walk away the champion this Sunday. So, from there, what can we say? The Bar versus Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Now, when I first saw this was going to be a match, it was kind of like, I'm getting kind of tired of this. These guys versus these guys, but then we throw in a third tag team. It seems to be the way the tag titles have been running for a while now, is when these feuds start picking up, all of a sudden we got to throw another tag team or two tag teams into the mix just to, there's a little bit of background excitement. I mean, that's a lot of bodies in a ring to be following. So, anyways, this one took place, and again, I don't mean this in a way that I'm knocking the talents, because I don't want to knock the talents, but the idea, the concept of the match kind of didn't excite me all that much. And then I saw the match. The match itself, solid, very solid. In fact, it was probably one of the best highlights outside of the Oscar promos. One of the best highlights from Monday Night Raw this Monday. In fact, I go as far as saying that this could have been a highlight match, even on a really strong show. So, now going into this Sunday, it's starting to look really good. I gotta say, how many people out there, aside from me, thought for a second there, you almost got caught out, thought for a second there that Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson had the win in this match. And good God, would that have been something. It really would have been something to see that happen. Apollo Crews taking on Kurt Hawkins. Nothing really to note. Apollo Crews taking the win, other than, when are they going to get things right with Apollo Crews? I tweeted out on Monday night that Apollo Crews is a very underrated talent, and that this has to take off for him somewhere. I mean, if used correctly, I think Apollo Crews could be a big star. I mean, the guy's got the look. He's got the skills in the ring. I mean, yeah, okay, we can sit there and say, the guy smiles a little too much, but, you get put inside a WWE ring, I beg you to try not to smile at some point. I mean, this is a person's dream coming true, and, maybe Crews was pushed into the main event, the main roster a little too soon. He could have spent a little bit more time in NXT developing a bit. You could say all these what ifs all the time, but I think Apollo Crews, the biggest thing is just not running the storyline properly with him. I mean, the guy's obviously got talent. I mean, he even gave us a memorable moment being kicked by Braun Strowman there in that one match. I mean, it was entertaining as hell. And that move isn't all Strowman. I mean, you got to imagine Crews has to take that bump. And take that bump he did. And he got back up, the very next day and went back to work, you guys. Most of us going to get kicked by a big monster like Braun Strowman in our daily jobs, and we're going to turn around, bitch for weeks, and be on, workers' compensation for 2 months. But, Apollo Crews puts a smile on his goddamn face and goes right back to work the next day, and we all sit there and bitch about it. Apollo Crews, you know what? Great. Seems like a great guy, very deserving. I hope that they can figure out things for him, because I think he is a top guy, quite easily. And then, so Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar via satellite. If ever in the history of satellite interviews there was 2 guys that should not be put in a satellite interview, it's Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar. And I don't mean this to take away from, Paul Heyman's ability to talk. I mean, Lesnar's another story. The guy couldn't talk his way out of a paper bag. But Heyman is a great talker. But I'm getting tired of Heyman talking. And why am I getting tired of Heyman talking? Because it's the same shtick every time. This is the Beast, the Conqueror, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, we get it, Heyman. Brock Lesnar has been a beast for a long time. He's still a very intimidating individual, but you damn well know he's coming close to that ending. I mean, there's guys that are coming for his blood, and Braun Strowman's one of them. Braun Strowman, I think, carried this satellite conversation for me. I think he did really well with it. But again, let them fight, guys. Like, this is, you were days away from their big match, and you have them sitting down via satellite. Why aren't they sitting down via satellite 3 weeks ago? What happened last week on Raw would have been way more exciting leading into No Mercy than this. It almost felt like WWE was too afraid to pull the trigger on letting any guys do anything, because they got so many injuries at the moment. They don't want any more to happen, especially before a pay-per-view. Speaking about more promos, out comes dun 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 dun. Yes, everybody's favorite Roman Reigns comes out for a promo. He cuts this promo, seemingly without John Cena there. I mean, we could assume John Cena's not there, but maybe we just couldn't see him. Anyways, Roman cuts his promo, drops a few cuss words. Ooh, getting a little risky. It was a decent promo from Roman. I mean, it's about as good as Roman's promos tend to get. Right there, it showed signs of him improving, definitely, and everything. But he's never going to be, John Cena on a microphone. John Cena, some guys just have it. They're not. It doesn't come across as feeling forced, and with Roman, it feels a little bit forced. He's getting the hang of it, which is cool, which is good to see. But his actions speak louder than his words. And inside the ring, I think he does a lot better job. So it was all right, but again, pointless. No Cena, uh, supposedly. But yeah, it did nothing for me going into this weekend. Then we had Dustin Rhodes versus Bray Wyatt. Yes, the artist formerly known as Goldust, wishing to come out as his real life self, Dustin Rhodes. Um, he put on a good show. I mean, you got to imagine for the guy's age, for him to be out there doing what he's doing, is quite remarkable. I mean, if anybody has ever stepped inside a ring, even taken a couple of bumps. I don't even mean like learning all the holds and moves and how to do this, that, and the other thing, putting the wrestling match together. I mean, just go and take a bump. If ever you get a chance to go step inside a ring and just take a couple of bumps and understand what this puts you through. Wake up the next day. Notice how your body feels. And then imagine Goldust at the age that he is pulling this crap off. I'm not kidding, folks. It is almost mind blowing that he does it, especially on the level he's doing. I mean, there's guys on the indies that do it all the time, but even them, I mean, their bodies are damaged and frayed and everything. Dustin Rhodes has kept himself in pretty damn good shape for a guy his age doing what he's doing. I mean, not many could be stepping in and be able to pull off the caliber of what he's doing at his age. So, all the credit to him. Unfortunately, I think, he's coming to that end. It's coming soon. Unfortunately, because I mean, the guy has been around for such a long time. I remember when Goldust first came into the WWF when I was a child. He's been a remarkable character and a mainstay for so long that, it's going to be sad the day he decides to hang up the boots finally, but the day is coming. He eats the defeat to Bray Wyatt here. Not a bad match. Of course, Bray saying his words, Balor comes on, says his words, still nobody cares. Hate to say it, nobody cares because it's just been booked so weak. I mean, you'd think that two guys, one with a demon persona, one with this supernatural type persona, things should click, and something about these two dudes is not clicking right together, and so it's just not something. They need to move on from it. Up next, we had Enzo attempting to open his mouth until he got crushed by Braun Strowman. So yes, pointless. Then Neville took on Grand Metalik in a cruiserweight match that was, it was not a bad match. It was alright. Bigger talking point was Neville went to grab the eye of the mask of Metalik, I believe, to pull it and make it look like he was trying to rip the mask off, and he had inadvertently ripped the mask open, which, is a big no-no in the world of the cruiserweights. They shouldn't say cruiserweights. In the world of luchador wrestling, it's usually seen as something bad when you unmask a luchador anyway. So, main event of the night, the six-pack challenge for the number one contender to the Miz's title. And if anybody thought anyone aside from Jason Jordan was going to win this match, you are sorely mistaken and need to go back to prediction school, because it was so obvious that this was going to happen. But anyways, yes, not a bad match. Pretty good match, actually, for the most part. Again, one of the better points of Raw, even though it still wasn't enough to make Raw a good show this week. Raw was actually piss poor for terms of quality. Jason Jordan picking up the win, so he'll take on The Miz this Sunday at No Mercy. Heading on over to the Smackdown side, and I know for some people have some complaints with Smackdown last night. You naughty, naughty people. Anyways, Shane McMahon returns, says his piece in regards to what went down with Kevin Owens and his father from the week before, saying that Owens obviously knew he had done something wrong because he wasn't even willing to come out there and confront him. So there's that. Yeah, it was pretty good. Good way to start the night off. It didn't take up too much time. Got straight to the point. Helped build the storyline a little bit without it, consuming the show, because the Owens McMahon thing has been consuming most of SmackDown for the last 2 weeks. So this week, without letting it completely die off, they still put it in there and didn't allow it to consume everything. They allowed for room for other things to happen last night on SmackDown, which was nice to see. Next up, we had Randy Orton taking on Aiden English in what was, a fairly decently competitive match. Randy Orton picking up the win over Aiden English. When all of a sudden, out comes Rusev. Rusev saying that he wants to take on Randy Orton right there, right now. Randy Orton nods to the referee that he's down for it. Aiden English creates a distraction, and Rusev kicks Randy in the face and picks up a quick victory over the 13-time world champion. Backstage, Rusev gloating like he had just won the World Series or something like that. This guy, Rusev, is awesome. And he starts chanting, Rusev number one, Rusev number one. You know what, damn it, get the Rusev number one chant going at every show. Get the trend, hashtag Rusev number one, trending worldwide. Rusev is amazing, and he should have his own show. I was having this discussion with somebody last night during the show. The Rusev Show. Get it trending as well. Hashtag the Rusev Show, hashtag Rusev number one. This guy could easily fill a time slot of his own. What an entertaining individual. Up next, Jinder Mahal comes out to run one of his funny little make fun of Shinsuke promos. A lot of fans did not dig this promo. No discredit to Jinder Mahal, though. I mean, this is what he has been told to go out there and do, you guys. He is doing his job. This is what they want him to do, and he is doing it. And in the process, I mean, if he is making you feel uneasy and making you dislike him, isn't he doing his job? I have to ask that. I know, that's too far. It comes across as racist and stuff, but, yes, in most cases, I would agree with you. It's like, things can go too far and stuff, but this is WWE, and they have pushed the boundaries for so long. They have trying new things. They want people to be talking. And you know what? You probably were talking about this. I'm sure you were online, on the Twitters, on everything like that, going on to your friends about, oh my God, I can't believe they let the guy from India, even though he's from Canada, the guy from India go on and make fun of people from Japan. How racist? How racist? Yeah, I agree. Was some of it in poor taste? Certainly it was. But, again, not Jinder's fault. Jinder was doing exactly what he was asked to do. And at the same time, has now generated a lot of heat. And when the fans were chanting, that's too far, Jinder turned around, you think that's too far. He's picking up on the idea of doing a promo properly. Again, they needed something where Nakamura came in and did something about this. Because right now, it loses all the heat for Nakamura that he's just kind of sitting back and watching it or whatever. But then again, it might be creating a bit of a mystique. When is Nakamura going to strike? Or is he just building it all up until they have that match and he's going to take that title? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But, right now it just, I can see where people are upset. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning what was said. But what I am saying is that if it made you hate Jinder, I guess that's the point, because he is a heel character. You're not supposed to like him. It'd be like turning around and saying, I'm really big fan of that Negan guy on The Walking Dead. I really liked it when he smashed the Glenn's eyeball out of his face. I mean, you're not supposed to, as a human being, enjoy these things. I mean, not to say there's some of us smarks and cynical individuals out there that don't have a good chuckle and a laugh when we hear something or see something that's, a little risque or whatever, and that's, our human right to do so, I guess. But I feel like, maybe people are jumping the gun a little bit too much to think that this is too far. I mean, if you think this is too far in terms of WWE, then maybe you should go back and watch more WWE, because they have pushed things way too far before, and probably a lot further than what Jinder did with the Shinsuke thing last night. So, moving on from there, in the United States Championship match, AJ Styles defending against Baron Corbin. Before we can even get started, Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger coming out and making an attack, showing his aggressive side, taking out Baron Corbin just like Corbin did to him a couple weeks prior, which was, great to see. I'm glad to see Ty Dillinger getting more involved, and not only getting involved, but really showing that more aggressive side. So it shows more character, more depth to him as an individual. And in doing so, we get this better side of Ty Dillinger, and he's starting to insert himself into the main play of, the SmackDown Live roster, which is great for him. Match ends in no contest. Calf Crusher was put on to Corbin just because. Corbin very upset backstage, saying that he is going to get even. So up next, Charlotte coming out to address the fans, thanking everybody for the support while she's been away, helping her father and all the support for her father. And out comes Natalya to talk about the celebration of women. It was a little obvious here that underneath that black, cloth was going to be a picture of Natalya holding the title. I mean, it's good old fashioned heel play. I knew that was going to happen. What I didn't like, though, was then it became, out comes Becky Lynch. Oh, out comes Naomi. Out comes Tamina. Oh, my God, where's this going to go? Is it going to be a multi-woman match for the decision to decide who will take on Natalya at Hell in a Cell? Ding, 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 ding. I guess I was right. Yeah, obviously, they just don't know what to do with the women's divisions on the main roster. It's like, you can't come up with individual storylines for any of them. So instead, we'll just keep putting them into multi-women matches, and whoever wins gets a title shot. And then whoever wins gets the title shot. Again, it's not really strong booking in that sense, because it becomes very predictable. I mean, you could have had anything at this point, like anything. Not to take away from these women when they have these multi-women matches or anything like that. Again, this is just my point, that it's just too easy to predict that this is going to happen. Why not, instead of having that happen, we got all this time before Hell in a Cell, how about a mini tournament? Why not have, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte and Naomi versus Tamina, and the winners of those two matches will go on to face each other one-on-one, and the winner of that will take on Natalya. At least it's something different. I know it involves multi-women again, but it's something a little different than throwing them all into the same match like they continuously keep doing at this point. So, anyway, segment not bad. Whatever, moving on from there. New Day taking on the Hype Bros. Match itself is okay. Nothing really big to note. Obviously, backstage afterwards, Mojo saying he's tired of losing. They're teasing more of this dissension between the two of them, saying that they need to take further action if things are going to change. Are they going to split, or are we going to see a different side of the Hype Bros that we haven't seen before? Not too sure. Usos were on commentary for this match, and I gotta say, credit to the Usos for some of their quirks sometimes. Tom Phillips saying, and we're here with the former tag team champions, the Usos, and Corey Graves cutting in saying his line of, Tom Phillips has been waiting all day to call you guys the former tag team champions, to which sorry, I don't know if it's Jimmy or Jay replies, well, I've been waiting all day to call you a former announcer. Fantastic, quirky comeback on the behalf of the Usos, and they're wonderful at doing that. Again, not enough credit goes to those boys for not only their in-ring skill, but also their personality. They have got personality. They can work a microphone, and it works. So, Kevin Owens coming in via satellite, saying that everything that happened was Shane McMahon's fault. He apologized to Vince and to the McMahon family for what he had done, but something had come over him. He had become obsessed, and all he saw was Shane McMahon, and that he is going to destroy Shane inside the Hell in a Cell. So yes, that was a stronger way of doing via satellite. Again, it also isn't like the week before Hell in a Cell. They've had these good moments with the the McMahon Owens feud right now, and now this via satellite works for now. Then they can get back to their altercations or whatever they do moving forward. Now we've got the satellite crap out of the way, and they did it right. SmackDown doing it right, Raw fucking it up. Sorry for dropping the F-bomb, but that's just the way it was. Dolph Ziggler keeps coming out with his, mocking former gimmicks and stuff like that. This time, really taking the piss out of Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and D-Generation X in particular. And Dolph, I like the one line he's saying, I got two words for you. Who cares? Um, Ziggler, if people don't understand this whole thing, is probably one of the best sellers inside the ring. When it comes to taking a bump and selling the hell out of it to make somebody else look good, Ziggler is absolute perfection. He is on par with guys like Kurt Hennig for some of the best in-ring performers, and what he's saying is absolutely true. It doesn't matter how good he is in the ring. Nobody seems to care enough about him. And again, is it because we don't care because we don't appreciate what he does in the ring? No, I think the truth behind it comes from the fact that WWE has poorly booked the guy over the years and stuff like that. So he hasn't had an opportunity to be the guy, everybody wants to get behind and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that is. So this whole thing is making sense, and I think everybody is on the understanding that this is going to lead to his feud with Bobby Roode, which, again, I love the matchup of Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler, but once again, Dolph Ziggler becoming that gateway guy. He's that guy that every time they bring up a name from NXT, Dolph is that guy. He was that guy for Baron Corbin, for Shinsuke Nakamura, for Tyler Breeze. He's going to be that guy now for Bobby Roode as well, too. And, again, is it the right move? You're trying to re-image Dolph Ziggler here. You're trying to make him, this new heelish attitude that he's got, this disdain he's got for the WWE Universe, which, can really, really work for him. I think the gimmick could work, but then you're going to go put him against the Glorious One right away, who's just coming up. And, obviously this is going to end with Bobby Roode defeating Dolph Ziggler, which again isn't something I'm against, so to say. But why can't you keep them apart for a little while and do it later down the road? Like, rack up some wins for Dolph Ziggler before, get the guy in the ring. Anyways, Dolph Ziggler showing great work here. When he does end up getting the chance to take on Bobby Roode, it will be a great match, I'm sure of it, as long as they allow the time to work properly. So again, till they actually do it instead of just keep teasing it, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So the Fatal 4-Way or whatever, 4-pack challenge, whatever the hell you want to call it, for the number one contender to Natalia's women's title took place. The match itself, I liked it. I really did like it. I know some people maybe were not big fans, but I thought that the four of them, especially because they didn't just allow two go outside the ring while two fight in the ring. There was a lot of 3-person spots and 4-person spots. There was a lot of good stuff going on there inside this match. So yes, Charlotte picking up the win in the end. Credit to her backflip that she did off the top rope there onto, I can't quite remember who she did the backflip to. I believe it was Tamina and Becky, if I'm not mistaken, in that occurrence, but I could be wrong. But yes, solid match. Again, I'm looking forward to Charlotte and Natalya in a feud together. I hope this one carries out for a little while, but we'll just have to wait and see. We know that the Money in the Bank is still lurking in the background there somewhere. So we'll have to wait and see what is going to go down. So, anyways, with that being said, that kind of wraps up WWE for the week, aside from NXT tonight. So I hope all you NXT fans are going to be watching. So, send me some messages. Let's have some chats tonight if you can. Get involved. Hit subscribe down on the YouTube channel. That would be fantastic. Subscribe to Rob's Rockin' Wrestling. Let your friends, your family, your dogs, your cats, your aliens, whatever you are hiding in your house, know to subscribe to Rob's Rockin' Wrestling here on YouTube. Follow me at Vapor Rob or hashtag The Real Bobby Munson on Twitter as well too. I want to thank you all for joining in with me today. Also, before I take off, I want to give another little bit of a shout out here. So I'm going to do a shout out on my show here to somebody that I think deserves it. And again, this is somebody who I've just recently kind of tuned into a little bit. And the reason I'm saying this is because he checked out one of the videos on my channel yesterday and told me about his channel, of course, and it's Jacob. So anyways, the guy's name is It's Jacob on YouTube. how it goes. So go check him out. Yes, so go check out It's Jacob, ITZJACOB. Go check him out on YouTube, especially if you're a aspiring YouTube creator yourself and you want the opportunity to possibly get more views and stuff, more subscribers to your channel as well too. And this dude will definitely try to help you out. So go check him out. So a big shout out to Jacob there as well. Aside from that, I've got nothing left to say for the day. So have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon. Top Guy out.